Welcome back to Retrovolt's Vault, where horsepower never dies. I'm Retrovolt 4, your guide through the wild world of classic muscle. Today we're diving into the 1970 Oldsmobile 442, a beast that roars louder than your Monday morning coffee. Because modern cars forgot what muscle means. Let's roll. Start things off with a fun little nugget about the 70 442 that's as unique as a unicorn in a field of horses. The his and hers Hurst shifter. Now, this wasn't just some marketing gimmick or cute accessory. It was a clever little transmission twist that gave drivers two distinct shifting styles in one. Think of it like a muscle car with split personalities. His mode was all about aggressive, manual-style gear changes for the driver who wanted to wrestle every ounce of power from the 455 V8. Meanwhile, hers mode was the smooth operator, perfect for cruising with style and grace like gliding down the highway on a cloud of vinyl and leather. This dual personality shifter was rare in the muscle car world, especially for automatics, making the 442 stand out as both a powerhouse and a bit of a gentleman's ride. It's like having a tuxedo and a leather jacket in one closet, ready to impress at the country club or tear up the drag strip depending on your mood. So, if you ever get behind the wheel of a 70 442 with a Hurst his and hers, just remember, you're not shifting gears, you're shifting vibes. Now that's classic muscle car magic. The 1970 442 started onto the scene like a heavyweight champ ready for the ring. Bold, aggressive, and impossible to ignore. Its signature twin grille wasn't just a face, it was a stare-down challenge to every other muscle car on the block. Think of those twin grilles like a pair of sharp eyes daring you to step up or just step aside. Then there are the forced air hood scoops. Not just for show, these scoops breathe life into the big engine beneath like a lion taking a deep powerful breath before a roar. Sculpted body lines wrap the 442's frame with purpose and flair, slicing through the air with the precision of a knife through butter. Whether you pick the hardtop coupe, the wind-in-your-hair convertible, or the practical yet still sporty pillared coupe, the 442 promised presence and performance. It was like choosing between a sleek tuxedo, a leather jacket, or a sharp blazer. Each style different, but all guaranteed to turn heads. In a world of muscle cars, the 70 442 didn't just blend in. It stood out like a champion flexing his muscles on the street. Under the hood, this Oldsmobile packed one of the most fearsome power plants of its era, the 455 cubic inch 7.5 liter V8. With 365 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and a tire-twisting 500 foot-pounds of torque, it didn't just move the car forward, it catapulted it. The 4.1 inch bore and 4.3 inch stroke, paired with a 10.25 to 1 compression ratio, gave it the perfect balance of brute strength and mechanical efficiency. The 16 overhead valve train and cast iron block made it a reliable sledgehammer, ready to deliver knockout punches all day long. For those who wanted to push things to the edge though, the W30 performance package took the same 455 V8 and turned the volume up to 11. Output climbed to 370 horses while torque remained a pavement-wrinkling 500, thanks in part to the 750 CFM Rochester Quadrajet 4-barrel carburetor feeding it a fire hose of fuel and air. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was the muscle car equivalent of a double espresso shot with a side of dynamite. Whether standard or W30, this engine made the 442 a street legend. Step on the gas, and the horizon didn't just approach, it lunged at you like it had a score to settle. When it came to getting all that 455 cubic inch fury to the pavement, the 70 442 gave you two solid options, each with its own personality. For the purists, there was the Muncie close ratio 4-speed manual, a gearbox that turned every shift into an event. Roaring through those gears felt like conducting an orchestra of explosions under the hood. Precise, satisfying, and just a little bit dangerous if you weren't paying attention. With short, deliberate throws, the Muncie begged you to keep your right foot heavy and your left foot quick. If you preferred to let the car handle the heavy lifting, the Turbo-Hydromatic 400 3-speed automatic was ready to oblige. This wasn't some lazy, slushy transmission. It was a well-trained bouncer delivering brutal shifts and handling mountains of torque without breaking a sweat. Drop the hammer and the TH400 would kick down with the kind of authority that left no doubt you were driving a muscle car. Whether you were steering gears yourself or letting the automatic do the talking, the 442's drivetrain was built for one thing: turning gasoline into forward motion with maximum attitude. Either way, this Olds was always ready to answer the call for speed. The 442 run on GM's trusted A-body platform, a foundation shared with many other muscle car legends, but tuned here to match the brute force of its 455 cubic inch heart. Think of it like a heavyweight wrestler who also happened to have ballet training. Strong enough to deliver a knockout punch, yet graceful enough to keep its footing when the action got wild. Its heavy-duty suspension was more than just beefed-up springs and shocks. It was a carefully balanced dance of engineering muscle. Up front and out back, upgraded springs soaked up the punishment, while shocks kept everything planted. Anti-roll bars worked like a firm handshake between front and rear, making sure the car stayed flat in the corners instead of leaning like a tipsy uncle at a wedding. The box lower and lower rear control arms added even more rigidity, helping the rear wheels put down all that monstrous torque without twisting themselves into a pretzel. The setup wasn't about floating down the road in a pillow-soft comfort. It was about being in command. Whether blasting down the straightaway or carving through a winding back road, the 442's chassis and suspension made sure you were the one telling the road how things were going to be. Step inside the 442 and you'd quickly realize that this wasn't some bare bones, no frills drag strip special. It was muscle with manners. The seats came in high quality vinyl, or if you wanted to treat yourself, optional leather that hugged you like a favorite old jacket. Wood grain accents ran across the dash and door panels, adding just the right touch of class, like the cigar lounge of the muscle car world. But the real party trick was the optional Hurst his and hers shifter. At first, it looked like the regular automatic shifter, but it had a split personality. One side for smooth, conventionally cruising, hers, and another for aggressive manual style gear changes, his. Of course, nothing stopped hers from getting a little wild or his from taking it easy. Names are just part of the fun. The whole interior struck a balance between sporty flair and refined comfort. You could drive it to a black tie event and look right at home, then peel out of the parking lot like a rock star leaving the stage. In short, the 442's cabin was a gentleman's muscle car lair, equal parts performance cockpit and classy lounge. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 put its power to the pavement through a Type O 12-bolt rear end, Oldsmobile's own twist on muscle car magic. Unlike Chevrolet's beefier Type C 12-bolt, the Type O had a slightly smaller ring gear, but still handled the 442's torque without flinching. It was like a lean, wiry fighter who could still knock you flat with one punch. This setup gave the 442 its own identity, right down to the drivetrain. By 1971, Olds swapped it out for the GM corporate 10-bolt rear axle, a bit like trading in custom boots for off-the-rack shoes. This particular Oldsmobile wasn't just a muscle car, it was a full-size statement on wheels. Measuring 203.2 inches in length, it had the kind of presence that made parallel parking more of a gladiator sport than a casual maneuver. At 76.5 inches wide, it took up enough lane space to make compact cars nervous, while its 52.8-inch height gave it that low, aggressive stance, like a sprinter crouched and ready to explode off the line. The 112-inch wheelbase struck a sweet balance between stability and agility, allowing the 442 to cruise comfortably on the highway yet stay composed when the road got twisty. And at a curb weight of 3,840 pounds, it had the heft of a linebacker, not the lightest contender on the strip, but heavy enough to feel planted and solid at high speed. That weight also meant when you slammed the door, it didn't just click shut. It thudded with authority like slamming a bank vault. In short, the dimensions of the 70 442 gave it the road presence of a battleship, the stance of a predator, and the stability of a rock. This wasn't just a car, it was a four-wheel intimidation tactic, measured to perfection. The 1970 442 had strengths that could make rival muscle cars sweat. First off, that monstrous 455 cubic inch V8 delivered torque like a wrecking ball, instant, unapologetic, and ready to rearrange your spine. The W30 package cranked things up even further, giving the 442 the ability to leave stoplights like it was fleeing the scene of a crime. Add in the heavy-duty suspension, precise handling for its size, and a classy, comfortable interior, and you have the ultimate gentleman's muscle car, a vehicle that could flex its muscles while still holding the door open for you. But no hero is without its flaws. The 442's weight, while adding stability, also meant it wasn't the quickest sprinter against lighter competition. Gas mileage? Let's just say you became very familiar with your local station attendant, and while the Type O 12-bolt differential was solid, it wasn't quite as rugged as Chevrolet's version, making it a talking point for drivetrain purists. Still, the 442's strengths easily overshadowed its quirks. It's like a heavyweight champ with impeccable style. Maybe not the most nimble in the ring, but when it landed a punch, you knew it, and in the muscle car arena, That's what really mattered. So there you have it, the 1970 Oldsmobile 442, a muscle car that's equal parts beast and gentleman, with a roar that could wake the neighbors and a style that commands respect. It's like the tuxedo-clad brawler of the muscle car world, ready to throw down but always with a touch of class. Whether you're a diehard Olds fan or just someone who appreciates raw American muscle, the 442 stands tall as a legend that refuses to be forgotten. Now, I've got to ask, if you had the keys to this powerhouse, what's the first road you'd hit? Straightaway drag strip? Twistiest back road? Or maybe just your local diner, showing off that muscle car swagger? Drop your answer down in the comments. I want to hear your dream drives. And if you enjoyed this drive through the world of classic muscle, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the legends that keep horsepower alive. Remember, here at Retro Wheels Vault, keep it loud, keep it classic.